Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Callie.
And I'm Bean.
So today we're going to tell you all the books we got in the month of July. So we're going to start off with both of us do book of the month. And we both got a different book this month. So I got Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. I read his book Final Girls a year or so ago and really enjoyed the twists and turns. So I'm really excited to see if this one delivers as well.
And this month I got Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. And this one follows, I believe, the Mayan culture, and it is a fantasy, and that's literally all I know about it, and it has a gorgeous cover. So I'm excited to see how this one goes as well.
So the next grouping of books I got at a library sale. So for all of the books that I am showing you, I got for $3 because I'm a smart shopper. So I got Like Water for Chocolates by Laura S. Squirrel. I read this in high school, and I think I borrowed it from the library when I read it, and I remember really liking it. It follows a Mexican family, and I know that there's like recipes in here, and I really just want to reread it, and I just remember it being a really good book. So next I got Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I've heard really good things about her writing style, so they had this one. I've only heard about Gone Girls, and I think this one just turned into a show.
It is a TV show.
Yeah.
It's been a show for about a year now.
Yeah, and I've heard really good things, so I picked it up. And the last book I got is a Book of the Month version of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I read Daisy Jones and the Six a couple months ago and fell in love with it and have been looking for this book everywhere. And I finally found it. And for cheap. I am so happy with life. It's great. So this follows, similar to Daisy Jones and the Six where it followed a band, this follows a Hollywood starlet and her 7 husbands. And it just sort of documents her life in an interview format similar to Daisy Jones and the Six. So I'm really excited to dive into this one.
And I got an art copy of The Last Voyage of Poe Blythe by Ali Condai. And I don't know a lot about this except for Poe Blythe is a girl who travels up and down, I want to say, the Nile panning for gold. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and as much as I really like the final copy, and as much as I really do like the final cover, this is an arc, so I think it's kind of cool to have. And now we're going to move on to our book outlet hauls. So I, per usual, got a couple non-fictions in my box. I only got 2 this time, and both of them are actually archaeology related. So the first one I got, I have actually started reading already, and that's Finders Keepers, A Tale of Archaeological Plunder and Obsession by Craig Childs. And this just talks about plunder and basically grave robbers and someone who goes around and follows them. Kind of reminds me of The Dinosaur Thief. So, yes. And then the second one that I got was Stealing History, Tomb Raiders, Smugglers, and The Looting of the Ancient World by Roger Atwood. And again, this one's also quite self-explanatory, but I don't know, I was on a little bit of a binge when I was on Book Outlet, and I was like, let's read about looting! Why not?
So more than half of my Book Outlet order was finishing out series, because that's what you do with Book Outlet. You patiently wait until the books you want are on there to finish your series. So I got The Princess and the Fangirl by Ashley Poston, which is a companion novel to Geekerella. This is a Comic-Con version of The Princess and the Pauper. I actually already read this, and it's fantastic, and I loved it. And we had one continuation of a series that we both got the same, and that is In an Absent Dream by Shauna Maguire, which is the 4th book?
Yes.
4th book in the Wayward Children series, which is basically a series about children who have gone to magical worlds and then come back. So, I haven't read the series yet, because I want to finish it. Still missing a book, but
so this is actually a prequel to the first book. The books 2, 3, and 4 are prequels, so they follow characters that we meet in the first book and their experiences in their worlds that they found themselves in. The 5th one, which is coming out
January.
Thank you. It is a sequel to the first one.
That one's called Come Tumbling Down. That'll be interesting.
So, and these covers are gorgeous, by the way.
So
They're
cool.
so. I am one of those that I will just get an entire series off of Book Outlet, and I got the Binti series by Nnedi Okorafor. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at this. Is a series of novellas, and the first one is Binti, the second one is Binti Home, and then the third one is Binti the Night Masquerade. And these three follow a girl named Binti who she lives on a futuristic version of planet Earth, and she is the first one of her kind to go off to the stars in order to learn from a different culture, like learn from basically what they consider to be aliens. And she goes off, and then the other books are her coming back and dealing with that, the repercussions of leaving her family and her tribe. I'm intrigued. They're really, really short, and they're really, really pretty.
So going off of pretty, I bought a second version of Shatter Me, which is actually the original cover, the original hardback, with the text on the cover. So I saw this on Book Outlet and for like $3, and I snatched it up because it's shiny, it's pretty, and I needed it in my life.
The next book that I got was Notes from My Captivity by Kathy Parks. I actually heard about this one on a podcast, and it basically follows a girl who wants to be a journalist, and she goes off into the Siberian wilderness in order to prove to her father that a group of hermits weren't actually there, only for her to get kidnapped by these hermits and have to pretend to really care about them in order to be set free.
Next one I got was School for Good and Evil Quests for Glory by Soman Chainani. You can go with that. So this is the fourth book in the School for Good and Evil series, which this is, I think, the first book in its spin-off or prequel series. The original series is 3 books long, and it follows students of the School for Good and Evil.
What?
And this one starts off the series in the Camelot years. So, which just sounds cool, and I'm ready for it.
The next book I got is How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. This book follows a man who looks like he's in his mid-30s, but it turns out he has been alive for centuries. And this is a rare disease that people have, and so he's not the only one in the world with this, and there's actually a group that supports these people, and one of their rules is that you're not allowed to fall in love. And this guy falls in love. Go figure. And so it's all about him trying to figure out whether or not he can do this, or if he really should just follow the rules. And I actually first saw this book when I worked at Barnes & Noble, and I really just love the cover of it. I really do. I'm totally a cover by person, in case you haven't realized that yet. But I don't know. I think it's interesting, and I do enjoy my time traveler kind of thing. Time traveler or immortal persons books. The next book I got is actually a spin-off of a video game that I have watched being played. I don't play a lot of video games. But I watch people play video games because I find that more intriguing, and I can be the really obnoxious person in the back. But this is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Path of the Apocalypse by S.D. Perry. S.D. Perry writes a lot of spin-offs of video games, both Star Wars, Star Trek, and Tomb Raider. And this one is a spin-off of one of the games. So I was intrigued. I always enjoyed the movies for Tomb Raider, and I have seen the video game played, like I said. So I am intrigued. Apparently this does a really good job of playing with what you see in the game.
So the last sequel, I guess, that I got from this order was The Cursed Sea by Lauren DeStefano, which is the sequel to The Glass Spar. I believe this is a duology. I don't remember what it's about, but now I can binge it and be happy.
That's always good. Okay. The next 2 books that I got were Liar Liar and Little Boy Blue by M.J. Aldridge. Sorry, heard a noise. And this is actually book 4 and 5. I thought this was 3 and 4, and it's books 4 and 5 of the Detective Helen Grace thriller series. I read the first one, and I will be reading the second one, hopefully this month, if I can get through my notes. But these are very gritty, very intense thriller stories following a detective who has a bunch of issues, but she is very committed to what she is doing. So, think Criminal Minds, but in book form.
Alright, so I got 3 standalone, yeah, they're all standalones. 3 standalone books. The first one is Damsel by Elena K. Arnold. This follows a prince and a girl, and the prince, once his father dies, he must complete a series of tasks, and the last one being rescue a damsel to be his bride. Then we follow a girl who, with no memory, ends up in the arms of this prince who just keeps telling her that she is his damsel. She's like, okay, weird, cool, but sure. So we follow their story. I've heard really good things, plus the cover's really pretty, and it just sounded intriguing to me.
The next book that I got is actually the 4th book in a series, and I am slowly collecting all of them so that way I can binge them. And this is Ghosts of Empire by George Mann. This is the 4th book in the Ghosts of Manhattan series, and it follows a detective ghost in Manhattan.
Alright, the next one that I got is Stolen Time by Danielle Rollins. This is the same author as Danielle Vega. So this follows a girl from 2077 who then goes to 1913. She's kind of whisked away into that time and has to figure out how to get home, or even if she wants to go home. Because she is whisked away, I believe it's like the night or the morning of her wedding. And when she is, right before she leaves, she's having thoughts about not marrying him. So she has to decide if she does indeed love him and wants to go back home, or to stay in 1913 and just live out the rest of her days there.
The next book I got is the first book in a duology, and it's Nobody's Princess by Esther Freisner. And this follows Helen of Troy and her internal struggles with whether or not she actually wants all of this attention or not, and how she wants to be her own person.
And the last book that I got is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. And I got this because Brittany keeps raving about it, and I want to read it. I want to know. I want to be in the know.
That's fair.
Because Brittany just continually, she read it like, what, 2-3 months ago?
Something like that.
Still raving about it.
She hasn't stopped talking about it.
Has not stopped. And I would like to understand. So I put it, and it was $4. So, here we are.
This is the story of us buying books. The last book I got was Hood by Stephen R. Lawhead. And this is the first book in a series, a trilogy, I believe, that is a retelling of Robin Hood, but I believe with a Norse twist. So I'm intrigued. It's also a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but that's okay. So, yeah, that's all I got.
All right. So those are not as big as our previous hauls, but that's because we need restraint. So those are all the books that we got in July, not including ones that you saw us open in book boxes.
Yeah, so if you want to see those, check back on our channel and you can see the books that we got this past month in boxes, because we figured that would be a little bit too repetitive.
Just a tad. So, currently, I am reading book 2 of Keeper of the Lost Cities, Exile by Shannon Messenger, and I'm about a little more than halfway through, and things have gotten real. That's about all I got.
And when this video goes up, I will be reading The Beckoning Shadow by Catherine Blair. I'm excited.
So those are our current reads, and feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. We post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday.
And if you want to be reminded whenever we post those videos, feel free to hit the little bell icon right down below. Also, feel free to follow us on all of our Instagrams and our Goodreads. We spend way too much time on both of those.
Oops.
So, feel free to leave a comment if you've read any of these books, or if you're looking forward to any of them, please let us know.
And we will see you in our next one. Bye!